Welcome to Lilydale Radio, featuring topics about spiritualism, mediumship, healing, spirituality, and the Lilydale Assembly, the world's largest center for the religion, philosophy, and science of spiritualism. This is Lilydale Radio.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Lilydale Blog Talk Radio, and welcome to Angie and Friends Spiritual Conversations. My name is Angie Abt. I'm a registered Lilydale medium, and I'm really excited to be with you today. And I'm excited to introduce you to my friends who have lots to say. Next to me is Karen Sully of K Dynamics, and Karen's a business associate that helps me with everything I do at Santosha and doing this and all. And our special guest below is Linda Ellson of Feng Shui Your World. And Linda has lots to talk to you about in regards to the energy shift and changes that are going to occur February 2nd, right, Linda?
February 4th, actually.
Oh, February 4th. You just told me that, and I said it wrong anyway.
That's okay.
That's what happens when I don't read.
We're already feeling the shift for February 2nd, Angie.
Oh, okay. All right. So I got a little right there. Okay. So before we start, though, I want to tell you a little bit about Lilydale. So Lilydale, is the oldest. I was going to say one of the oldest, but it's the oldest spiritualist community in the world. And if you have never been to Lilydale, I would really recommend that you go. And I know Karen and Linda have both been there, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's one of those places that you just get there and you walk down the streets and you feel the peace of the place. It's amazing.
Excellent.
Amazing. Yeah. And so I want to encourage you all, do yourself a favor and go on Lilydale Assembly's Facebook page and like the page, and you can see everything that's going on in Lilydale, because not only is it a wonderful community, it also has lots and lots of classes that go on all year, and they go on all year now because of Zoom. So one of the things, and we've talked about this, the three of us, like one of the things that's positive thing that came out of this whole pandemic and quarantine is we've learned how to use Zoom, right? Mm-hmm. So, okay. So before, again, we're going to get to meditation and then have a nice conversation with Linda. But I also want to tell you, too, there are other shows on Lilydale Blog Talk Radio that you might be really interested in taking a look at. So first of all, I'll say ours, okay? It's Angie and Friends Spiritual Conversations, and we're on every Friday at noon. So it airs on Lilydale Blog Talk Radio, and we also air on Facebook Live. So you can listen to us on the radio or watch us. On Tuesdays at 8 p.m., Colleen Vanderzijden hosts Embracing Your Essence, and that's an excellent show. Wednesdays at 8 p.m., John White hosts Journey of Light, and that's a good show, too. They're all good shows. Okay, so next is Sharon Hill, and Sharon Hill is on Mondays at noon, and she does Medium Monday. Celeste Elliott does Wake Up to Spirit, and that's Thursdays at 10 a.m. And that's been on for a long time. Another good one. And also on Wednesdays is Wednesdays with Willa. I got a tickle in my throat with Willa White. Sorry about that, guys. Of course, here we go live, and I have a tickle in my throat. So anyway, if you're just tuning in again, I'm Angie Abt, and I'd like to welcome you to Angie and Friends. Take over, Karen, for a second.
Angie and Friends Spiritual Conversations. And Angie is a certified registered Lilydale medium, and she has guests on her show every week. And our format is just to do some meditation and intuitive tip, and then talk and discuss with someone in the holistic community. And typically it's someone who is up to something, like Linda has an upcoming event that through Santosha, which is Angie's practice, will be sponsoring. So Linda is our guest today, and she's a Feng Shui certified practitioner, and she's been helping people with Feng Shui in their homes and their businesses for over 18 years. I know that. She's helped me personally with one of my business endeavors and helped with that space. And I attend her classes all the time. She's a very I don't know. I would consider you're a very good teacher with laying things out pragmatically, one thing at a time, not overwhelming people. And you always have handouts and make it really easy to adapt and learn Feng Shui. So Linda is, again, our guest today.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Karen. That was great. Thank goodness. When I get a tickle in my throat, I'm at home right next to the kitchen, so I can go get it right quickly. So yeah, okay. And hello, everybody. Everybody's saying good morning to us. We have Kathy, Carla, Alberta, Colette from Long Island. So welcome from Long Island. Okay, so I want to start out with a little meditation, and then we'll get to our conversation. So, to me, meditation is the most important thing you can do if you have a spiritual practice or really just in your life every day. It puts you in a whole different frame of mind when you meditate. And I know because I have days that I don't meditate. Mostly I do, but if I have a day that I skip, I just don't feel the same. So I invite you to close your eyes for a second and take a deep breath in and exhale, and another deep breath in and exhale. And as you're inhaling, I want you to bring in new, relaxing, peaceful energy, and exhale any stress, just letting it go. Anything you've been holding on to that it's time to let go of, exhale it out. And imagine now that you're putting yourself inside an elevator. The door closes and you feel yourself going up. As you go up, you feel a lightness in your being. It's as though everything of the earth is falling away and you are becoming lighter and lighter. You feel every concern that you have ever had fall away from your mind, and every emotional disturbance is gone from your emotional body. You are becoming light, and you realize that you are light, and that light fills the inside of the elevator. You feel the elevator stop, the doors open, and you step out into the vastness of forever. Around you is every conceivable scene of beauty and light, and you are a part of that light. You feel yourself going forward, and before you there stands a figure, a glorious, radiant figure. And as you approach, it holds out its arms to you for an embrace, and it embraces you. And as you look up into its face, you see yourself. The radiance and the power of it seems to wrap around you and you recognize that you are one with it. And as you are enfolded in its embrace, you feel yourself becoming consumed in it, a part of it, until there is nothing that separates the two of you. You have become one. You feel that oneness. You sense it in every part of your being. You now feel yourself being drawn back to the elevator. You and your spirit self remain unified together. You step into the elevator, the doors close, and you are still in this great and wondrous light. And you feel the elevator going down, but the light does not diminish. Downward, the light still bright and pulsating. Downward, the light still bright and still filling your being. The elevator stops and you step off, and you are this beauteous light being. You come over and you sit back down in your seat, still radiant light. And when I count to 3, you will open your eyes, still being radiant light. 1, 2, and 3. So opening your eyes, and you still feel connected to your higher self, because that's what we did, your higher self and your guides. And I just want to say that meditation comes from a book. It's called Healing by Reverend Penny Donovan. And Reverend Penny Donovan was one of my instructors at Fellowships of the Spirit School. And she actually channeled the Archangel Gabriel for 12 years. He said he was going to come in and work with her for 12 years, and that's what he did. And I saw her do it too. It was pretty amazing, and the lessons were fabulous. And I wanted to share just with you today, I want to share an intuitive tip with you every time we meet, because I feel we are all intuitive. It's a natural part of who we are. We're born with it. And sometimes we set it aside, our intuition aside, as we go through our lives, and we become more connected to our left brain, the science part of our brain, than our intuition. And it's so easy to get back connected to it, to do readings if you want to, but really it's to use it in your everyday life, to pay attention. And I did that meditation on purpose. Okay. Oh, Grace is saying one of her favorite meditations, mine too. So hi, Grace. If you want to get connected to your intuition, all right, it's actually pretty easy. We think it's not, but that's really where, like, inside of us is where our best answers are, and where, when we're trying to make a choice and we don't know what to do, oftentimes we look outward, and what we really really need to do is go inward and listen to ourselves and our own voice. Okay. So you could do a meditation like that, seeing yourself in an elevator, or just sit and do some deep breathing. Because I can often get in touch with my higher self or my inner self, my guides, and relaxing just by doing some deep breathing. Okay. And then Gabriel says that you want to kind of get into a place of stillness, and then you want to ask for alignment of all your energy bodies. So we have our physical body and our etheric and our emotional bodies and all that. So all you have to do is say, I desire to be lined up, to be completely lined up, for all my bodies to be in line and to be connected to my higher self and my guides. So if you meditate and then you just say that, okay, and then you ask for some guidance, okay, or you can ask your question and allow the guidance to come in, okay, and the guidance will come in. I did it this morning just to be sure it worked. I know it does, but I always practice everything. And what happened to me is I asked for some guidance on a couple things, and all of a sudden I started to get all these thoughts that came in. And they were thoughts, but they were a little bit louder than a thought. Okay. And I knew that was my guidance. So really what it's about with guidance is you go in, do that, ask to be aligned, ask for the guidance, and then trust what you get. You know, one of my favorite sayings in intuition is link, don't think. That's such an important one, because you can't think about intuition. You have to just be in it, in that side of your brain. So I invite you to try that, okay? Maybe next time we meet, we're going to be on every Friday at noon. You can let me know if that worked. I would love to hear. All right. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed the meditation. So I want to get to the good part of our show now, and that's to bring my friends back on. And I have Karen Sully of K Dynamics and Linda Ellson from Feng Shui Your World. And Karen and I are going to have a conversation. Karen's like my co-host here. And we're going to have a conversation. Yep. And we're going to have a conversation with Linda Ellson. And talking to Linda is so important right now. She's president of Feng Shui Your World. And there are energy changes coming up for all of us February 4th. So we need to talk to Linda and learn more about this. So I want to read you a little bit I'm going to read you Linda's bio. So meet Linda Ellson. She is the founder and owner of Feng Shui Your World. Linda Ellson is a certified Feng Shui practitioner, a graduate of the American School of Classical Feng Shui, and member of the International Feng Shui Guild. Linda is passionately driven to help others enrich and empower their lives through Feng Shui. Her own transformation came some 20 years ago when a friend gave her a book on the topic. Her life was never the same after that. She took a big leap and left corporate life to found Feng Shui Your World after receiving her certification. Today, the company stands 18 years strong, that's great, and offers comprehensive services for residential and commercial properties throughout North America. Self-empowerment is a journey, and Linda walks the path, continuing to study with world masters and evolving the company's services to better serve her clients. From individual consultations to educational seminars and assistance with buying and selling homes, Linda's mission remains the same: to help you experience the empowering benefits of Feng Shui in your life. Join us on this adventure. And I welcome Linda Ellson. Hi, Linda.
Thank you. Oh, it's a pleasure to be here, Angie and Karen.
It's a pleasure to have you on for sure. Feng Shui Your World. Mission remains the same.
Oh, sorry about that. That was me.
Okay. All right. Okay. Playing us back. I heard my voice.
Reinforcing that.
I know. I was like, I want to hear my voice.
I'm just checking all the streams to make sure we're good, because we are not just on Lily Dale Radio, but we are streaming on several Facebook pages. So just doing my audio visual, duties here.
And really quick before Linda starts, I get into the conversation and forget to say this, You can write in with your questions. We welcome questions. You can write in the comments, and Karen will watch the comments and let us know when we get to that point, or you can call in on Lilydale Blog Talk Radio. And I don't, there's the number right there. It's 818-739-8818. So call in if you have a question. So Linda, okay, back to you, Linda. So I just kind of basically told everybody I read your bio, but tell us a little bit more about you and what got you interested in Feng Shui.
So yes, I am a certified Feng Shui practitioner, and Feng Shui, first of all, is the ancient art and science of placement, and it is a more than 3,000-year-old tradition. And it is all about getting your home in harmony and alignment with nature. And it originated, again, thousands of years ago, mostly around the Pacific Rim. And it landed in the U.S., I would say about 30 years ago, kind of started on the West Coast and then progressed its way across the country into the major markets. And, you know, professionally with me bringing it through Buffalo about 18 years ago. And it's all about working with the elements of nature. So, you know, I have a little plant over my shoulder here. So we'd say, you know, working with plants and fresh flowers in your home is supporting the wood element. And bringing additional light or lighting candles, or like the beautiful lamp you have over your shoulder, Angie, is illuminating and bringing in fire element. And, you know, a lot of us in the holistic circles and at Lilydale, we love our gemstones and our crystals. So that's going into the earth element. And when we dig into the earth, we find the precious metals and ores, the gold, the silver, the bronze. So working with that in terms of maybe, you know, brushed nickel lamps, in your living room, or your stainless steel or your gold fixtures, you know, in a bathroom remodel. What am I forgetting? Earth, fire, metal, water, of course. Water, our beautiful bodies of water from the Pacific Ocean to Lake Erie here in Buffalo, New York, and maybe enhancing and adding a beautiful, tranquil little fountain to an environment, or an inspiring picture of water. And then, of course, these elements, you know, can be brought in with the live natural elements in our home, but in terms of color and placement of furniture, it's all about the feel good of nature, bringing that into our home. And when we have that sense of, I think we've all been in environments that just feel lovely, right? And whether it's the most grand environment or a really modest home, that's usually good feng shui, whether they realize it or not, okay? But then we've all been in spaces where you're like, oh my gosh, get me out of here. Well, there's probably something off with the feng shui. But how I got interested in feng shui, years ago, I had relocated back to Buffalo, New York. And I took a job as an events coordinator and marketing executive for an international trade organization. And I had a very modest little office, all of an 8x10 box. And a friend of mine gave me a book on feng shui. And I thought it was on, Chinese cooking, because it was an international company. And I thought, okay, well, I can learn how to cook a little bit more, international. And it was a book of, I really knew nothing, obviously. And it was a book about just the basics of setting up your space and your environment. And I remember when I showed up on day one, there were floor to ceiling boxes all around my little office. And I thought, oh my gosh, what are these boxes doing here? They weren't here during my interview. And again, this is like back in the late 90s somewhere. And they said, oh, it's all these little press clippings. We thought you'd like to read about our different members and organizations. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to come in on the weekend and get rid of all the clutter, because these are blocks. I mean, according to the book, this is a block in my new professional career. But I set up the office and, talk about water element. I remember I put a little water feature on the north side of my office, because water is supposed to be about going with the flow in your career. And in the knowledge and education sector, I had a bookcase with all my reference manuals and books. And it was an international trade organization. It was about travel as well. So I had a big globe and a world map there. And again, it was very like textbook feng shui, because one of the thoughts and theories in feng shui is that your whole life is mapped out throughout your physical space. So we all have an area for our career, our health, our wealth, our children, our spirituality. So you kind of like, figure out the mapping system and figure it out. We consider the art and science of placements. This is what I guide people in doing. But again, very, very textbook. But everyone from accounts payable to the CEO would wander into my office and say, wow, it looks really nice in here. And then they would say, it feels really good in here. And, you know, I worked with about 75 different people at the time, and it definitely was not a touchy-feely organization, but it fascinated me in a kind of a hardcore business environment that they were talking about how they were feeling. And then over the course of the next 9 months, I've gotten something like 2 job promotions and 3 pay increases, which of course corporately makes absolutely no sense. But I was like, wow, I must really be onto something with this Feng Shui.
Yeah.
So vendor family member that would let me come over, move some furniture, paint a wall. I was doing it. So, and then I remember I had a wonderful colleague, and that was my adjacent partner. And after about 9 months in the organization, she announced that she was leaving. Ever, I cried my eyes out because I loved working with her so much. And then I got promoted, and I was working in her office. And I remember I had this beautiful, huge, you know, conference table, and it was overlooking downtown Buffalo. And at the time, the M&T Bank did a big concert series, and I thought, my gosh, I can watch the M&T concert series in the summer.
Nice.
Really. But again, I just got fascinated on just starting to do all these experiments for my friends and family, and then eventually over time, I was just, you know, reading every book that I could get my hands on. And then eventually I started daydreaming that I would really love to help people professionally. And life was very busy, and, you know, but I found my original, you know, Feng Shui master, and there have been many world masters since. But I got my certification, and been on this journey for over 18 years. So it's exciting, and it's awesome. And I think that, you know, when you were talking a little bit, Karen and Angie, in the beginning at the introduction, you know, at this time of year, and really coming and living in a pandemic, I feel that Feng Shui is even more important than ever for all of us, because obviously, right, so many of us across the globe are spending an inordinate amount of time in our homes still. So we are either delighted with how it feels, or we've been in the mode of, oh my gosh, I can't take it anymore. But also the really key thing, and this is a kind of a segue into talking about our annual energy shift, is the wisdom and the knowledge of knowing that every year there are some subtle, or in the year of the rat, not so subtle shifts that take place. But part of the wisdom of what you learn and what I teach and coach on is knowing what are the best sectors to do renovation or move some furniture around or sprucing it up. Because a lot of people, right, have been doing a lot of, you know, do-it-yourself projects, and, you know, they're working from home now, the kids are there, and aligning the environment. But the strategy with Feng Shui and the navigation tool, which is really empowering, is knowing in any given year what are the best sectors to be decluttering or renovating, or even swapping out curtains and draperies. Now, I will give you a tip and a segue into, you know, spirituality and the wonderful Lilydale community. In the Northwest area of all of our homes, think about Northwest is easy to identify. Just think about wherever the setting sun is in your home, you have that vantage point. A little bit over to the right is the Northwest sector in our home. And the Northwest sector relates to spirituality, helpful people, like this wonderful, you know, show that you two host, and of course the Lilydale community at large. But let's zone in on spirituality. Well, Northwest sector rules that, but it's also been a sector that's been very good for prosperity this year. So when I say this year, the energy always begins on a static date on February the 4th, and it changes with the solar calendar in the other part of the world. And so the year of the rat began last year on February the 4th, and it will cycle through until the changing of the guard, so to speak, and we label it starting with the new energy of the year of the ox. Now, some of you may say, well, I'm kind of hip on that, and I think the year of the ox is not until February the 12th. That is true. Now, that changes with the lunar calendar. Now, the energy shifts, the Feng Shui.
Let me interrupt you really quick. So tell them, because you're talking about the year of the rat. What does that mean? What does that mean? Like, to somebody that's new to Feng Shui, that sounds like...
Yeah, no, great question.
I want to know about that, but I do.
In Chinese astrology and in Feng Shui circles, there are a total of 12 zodiac animals. And the ancient lore goes that when the Lord Buddha, we think about the spiritual enlightened Buddha, the Siddhartha, was transitioning to the next realm, he summoned all of the animals of the earth to be by his side as he went to the next realm. And interestingly enough, the rat was actually the very first animal that showed up. Actually, as we are going into the year of the ox, the lore really goes that the ox, and you think about oxen, they don't move very fast. The ox was actually set to be the first animal to be with the Buddha. And the rat was, riding on his tail. And all of a sudden, the rat, who's very, very clever, jumped off the back of the ox and boom, made it to be the esteemed first animal to be by the Buddha. So there are a total of 12 zodiac animals. So it's every year the energy, so to speak, progresses, being labeled by an animal sign. Now, we talked about elements earlier. So we talked about earth and fire and metal and water and wood. So as these animals all cycle through, they're also labeled by elements. So we are entering the year of the metal, actually the yin metal ox, and we've been in the year of the yang, very intense male energy of the year of the rat, which we're still in. And when Angie and I were talking,
it goes along with everything kind of going on, right?
Oh, absolutely. When Angie and I were talking about preparing for this radio show, I said, it's not over till it's over. And we are still very much in the year of the rat. And, there's a slight changing of guard, but I think that we can all, just be bearing witness to our world events and what we're still living in. Absolutely. That's confirming it that we are. So, the rat, there's a lot of positive things to be said in the year of the rat. The rat is very, very clever. The rat is very, very social. So, that in the year of the rat, that we all found, even in the middle of a massive pandemic, global pandemic, we all found ways, just like we are here right now, connecting and being on Zoom and teaching classes or having, happy hours, or still being able to go to work and see our colleagues and, connecting in with our friends and seeing chat.
Right. Look at all the things that we learned this year, like with, finding, it's like stepping outside of the box, right? And finding different ways to do things and different ways to connect, which I think is good.
And again, that's part of the labeling of the cleverness of the rat. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And then you said year of the ox, and that's interesting to me too, because the ox moves slowly, and it kind of seems like that's sort of what this past year is guiding us into, is to be more mindful and go a little more slow. Correct? Would you agree?
Well, I completely agree. And interestingly enough, the imagery of the ox, the ox is a big, earthy, grounded animal. And the ox is about strength and plotting and persevering. So really, the hallmark of the year of the ox for us is going to be a year of rebuilding. And oxen work hard in the field, and it is going to be a year that calls for all of us to work hard, to persevere. So it's not going to be the easiest of years, but if we work hard and we persevere, we can prosper in the year of the ox. The other really important and beautiful thing, and I think lovely, again, with the nature of a Lilydale blog talk radio show and the spirit of Lilydale, is, this past year of the ox at the core, at the chi center of our homes, has been very protective of our entire family and of finances, of health. And I mean, again, we've really watched that all play out.
I've been feeling
our homes and our globe and et cetera.
For sure.
Well, there's beautiful lighter energy coming in with the changing of the guard with the ox on February the 4th. And that is where our energy and our attention and the gentleness at the chi center is going to turn heavenward. And actually, we call it the heavenly star that's coming into the center of our home. So you think about it, comes into the center of the home and it kind of permeates the whole house. And it's a year where we are going to turn upward and more spiritual. So, doing beautiful things, meditation, Angie, or honing more of our spirituality, maybe exploring more classes with Lilydale. For those of us who are more led and guided into traditional religious circles, going to church it's outside under a tent or on Zoom with your minister on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, and it's about going inward, right? Because we're kind of going inward to connect that energy, and I feel like that's what we've been guided so much to do. Really quick, Karen, put up because I want to tell you all of this. So Linda I've been going to this for years. I never ever miss this class. And it's Feng Shui Your World, Year of the Ox, Feng Shui 2021. And I, of course, Year of the Ox, I said that already, but that's going on. Linda does this class every year. And it's Saturday, January 16th on Zoom. Okay. That's something she's never done before. So that's the new part of it, but we have it pretty planned out pretty well. It's going to go great, but it's at 1:00. So I want Linda to tell you a little bit about this workshop, because Linda teaches workshops all through the year, and I try to go to as many of them as I can, but this one I would not miss. So I'm going to have Linda talk about this.
So this class is actually going to be the 17th year that I've taught my annual energy shift. And actually how it all originated was there was a big energy shift that took place that started in 2004. And honestly, in 2003, I was a new teacher, and I started, teaching the basics of Feng Shui. We talked a little bit about the water in the north, and where's the Northeast knowledge sector, and but there was this big shift coming into play, and I was already in private practice. And whenever there's a big shift, there's guidance and there's do's and don'ts, and really could be prosperous areas to renovate or change things around. Mm-hmm. And I had to quickly get hip to that energy so I could properly guide my clients. So my clients were, some were quickly getting projects done in certain areas, in that fall of 2003, and then there were other areas of the home that clients were waiting until that big shift, 20-year shift, started happening, as of February 2004. So I've been teaching it for 17 years, but my first time, teaching it virtually. But the knowledge and the wisdom is that, again, every year, we have our long-term Feng Shui, which is carries us for the long haul. But the guidance and the navigation and the knowledge and the power is to know that every year there are some do's and don'ts that take place that impact our health, that can impact our wealth, our well-being. And it may relate to maybe, changing up, the wall that your bed is on, moving it from one section of the room to another, or, maybe, with the Zoom classroom where your kids have been working at the dining room table, you may find, oh, that's terrific this year. We'll keep the kids exactly where they're at, but maybe you need to, move your home office in a makeshift way over to, the west sector. So there's that guidance of, from basic things like maybe moving where you're sitting at the dining room table, to maybe, introducing a plant. Now, I'll give you a little tip what's coming in the year of the ox. There is, in the overall chart of the year, we'd say there's an overabundance of water. So it's very important that all of us add plants, healthy, thriving, growing plants in our home to help absorb the excess water for the year. So that's part of the class. I will guide strategically where do you need to put, the potted plants or, the fresh cut flowers. And then there's another layer to the class is that for those who want to experiment a little bit more, is we get into some of the symbolic objects, some of the protectors that people can use. And, when I've been teaching this, and consulting with people over the years, we do use the word protection in Feng Shui.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you to talk about that because why? First, I have to say this: you can tell, when you Feng Shui, and not just your home, but also your office, right, Linda? Because Linda came into Santosha and said to me, change some things around and add some different things and add different elementals. And I did that. And I could tell the energy shifted and changed so much. And actually more people started coming, right? And things got better because it felt so much better, just as you were talking about. So, so this stuff works, everybody. It really does. And so tell us about the protection. Why do we need that?
Yeah. So, and it's interesting. And I've really have reflected on this a lot during the year of the rat. So every year there are going to be some spots in our home where we'd say the energy is weaker. And there's going to be other spots where the energy in a certain area, maybe it's your living room or your dining room, where it's amazing. So we'd say where the energy is weaker, we need to boost it. And it might, again, relate to health, or it might relate to protecting finances. And, my reflection is in the year of the rat is, I've used this word protection for years, but never really until the year of the rat did I truly understand what it meant to protect, like, for an example, the health energy in my home. And as I do that on behalf of clients. So one little protector that I will introduce you to, this is called a PO. And Karen, I'm sure we're not at that high tech, or maybe we are. I'm not going to judge that one. You're very savvy. We could zoom in on that, but if not, maybe we'll put an extra little picture when we post later on.
By yourself, probably, and we can probably see that better. Do you think, Karen?
Yeah, that works. I'm my own little.
There you go. There we go. Perfect.
So this is called a PO, and a PO is a protector, and a PO is half dog, half dragon. And what a PO and how it is used is wherever the animal sign is for the year, and the ox will be residing in the northeast part of our home. So I'll just give you a little tip on the northeast. The northeast is a little bit left to the rising sun. So we will put a PO protector in the northeast, facing northeast. And in my class, we'll give you the exact degrees to do that, or go to my Facebook page, Feng Shui Your World, on February the 4th, and the exact degrees will be posted for you. But we put it in the northeast, facing northeast, and it's kind of saying to this big yearly energy of the year of the ox, and we call the annual energy the Grand Duke energy. So the Grand Duke, we'd say the Grand Poobah of the year, is residing in the northeast. And this PO is used facing him, saying, hey, just don't mess with me and my family this year.
Yeah.
And that's the most basic thing that we would do. And then, there's other layers to the protection.
And that too, like to kind of bring about well-being, like you said, and kind of strengthens the energy to good health.
Exactly right.
Now. Yes.
Yes. And it's an important sector. We'd say that Grand Duke energy, that ox energy, is moving into the northeast. The northeast rules our knowledge and our education, our research, our learning. Think about all the kids and, whether they're in grade school to college, that are doing all this continuous, online learning. So, and I will tell you, the Northeast sector continues to be it was very good in the year of the rat. It called for us to be a very, again, creative and thinking outside the box on how to educate. But it continues to be a very, very good sector in the year of the ox, with the exception of the Grand Duke energy. But again, we have our protector in place. And the other tip is very important to know about wherever the animal sign is for the year. You don't directly face that direction of the northeast. It's just one direction you don't face in a given year, wherever that animal and that Grand Duke is residing.
So does that mean like when you're sitting or say sleeping or whatever you're doing?
So when you're sitting, like saying on a Zoom call, you would want to sit and have the Zoom call with your colleagues facing northeast. But when you're sleeping, it's when you're laying in bed. It's where, the direction where the top of your head is going. So, upright, sitting, computing, classroom, Zoom, front of the body, top of the bed when you're in the reclining position. The other really important thing to know, wherever the Grand Duke is for the year, you don't want to dig and renovate. So if you need a renovation project, a little kitchen or bathroom floor remodeled, do it between now and February 3rd in the Northeast. And then we're going to say, then take a break for the year. Enjoy the energy in that sector, but I would recommend not. I recommend not renovating. And I will tell you, because I've been a practitioner for so long, this energy is really, really real. And I have gotten the freak out phone calls when someone accidentally, pushed the envelope, or one of the family members decided to bring the jackhammer over with some buddies and start, breaking up the front porch. And, shortly thereafter, all hell, started breaking loose. And
like it's not smooth, right? That's kind of when you go into things where things are falling in place. And you know, you can tell that. I remember one time you told me, and in my holistic center, I always sit in front of the fireplace when I teach. And I know when you come and teach, you always sit in front of the door at the opposite end. Like we have like our certain ways that we, like when I sit a certain way, and it's probably not facing things or what have you, it's easier for me to teach. It's like it falls in place and the energy kind of comes. So that's part of Feng Shui as well, right?
It is. So that's one of the things that I talk about with people in private practice is aligning people with their personal power directions. We all have them. It's called your law number, and it's a formula that you work with a person's month, day, and year of birth. So, and it's very, very powerful to work with it. So it can be applied to the direction that you sleep in, where you sit on the dining table, where you do your work. I also sell real estate. So, back in the old days when we would negotiate in the actual office space, like I always knew which chair I would be sitting in and negotiating, and again, teaching too, whether it's on Zoom or in a traditional classroom, I get out my compass and I figure out, which side of the room, or like at Santosha, which end of the room, I'm in best alignment. And it benefits me, but when you're thinking about something like teaching, when it supports the teacher in a class, everybody benefits, or, when I'm first Feng Shui, I Feng Shui, if it's a family, I take care of the heads of the household, traditional mom, dad first, and then the kids. But again, or a CEO of a corporation, sometimes I'm just working on that CEO's immediate office space, and we're not doing the whole corporation at that time. But if that CEO, that leader is in alignment, everybody benefits.
Yeah. That's so true. That's really true. So I just want to really quick, because I see some new people have come on, and we're on we're on Lilydale Blog Talk Radio. This is Angie and Friends Spiritual Conversations. I'm Angie Abt. Next to me is Karen Sully, and below me is Linda Ellson of Feng Shui Your World. And we're super excited because on February 16th, Linda is hosting her
January.
Oh, did I say February? Wait, what did I say? Oh, I'm sorry. Karen, pull it up so we get the right dates. There we go. So I'm thinking February because that's when the energy changes. But Year of the Ox Feng Shui 2021 is on Zoom Saturday, January 16th, and from 1 to 3 p.m. And Linda's giving us like some little tidbits, right, Linda?
Yes.
So Linda, what were you were going to talk about? I think you said crystals today a little bit too, right?
So one of my favorite Feng Shui enhancers is rose quartz crystal, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. But these beautiful light pink colored stones. Could be a hand model here. And so rose quartz crystal in Feng Shui circles is used for a few different things. One is it's considered to be the stone of love and compassion. And it's also a stone to attract romance or to deepen, the loving feelings, in your existing relationships. So, we talk about the different sectors and has, different themes or meanings. So the Southwest sector in all of our homes, think about this, it's just to the left where the setting sun is in our home. And that's the partnership sector. So we'd say in traditional sectors, love, marriage, partnership. So we coach and we give tips on placing things in pairs there. So what you would do is you would put 2 pieces of rose quartz crystal in the Southwest sector for love and romance, harmony. And also, if you're single, if you're looking to attract, a special someone into your life, you can do that as well, or you can start carrying it or wearing it. Now, I will give you a little tip into the Year of the Ox, which is very important, that ties into rose quartz crystal. So this is the area for love and partnership. But in the Year of the Ox, we'd say the argumentative star is moving into the southwest. So you could say, in the year of the ox, in terms of our partnerships and our relationships, there could be a tendency to a little bit of bickering, okay? And this also relates to the female heads of the household, okay? This is, us in our household, or the matriarchs of the family. So it's going to be a really important stone, in my opinion, for all the ladies to be carrying. And, and then of course,
Karen and I both
you should both be carrying it. So carrying it this year, but also placing it in the southwest. And I'll do a little backward look at the year of the rat, which again, we're still in.
Yes.
That argumentative star was in the north.
And that changes February 4th, right?
February 4th. So it's a static date every year for the changing of the guard. And it's not like a light switch goes off and the energy changes, but, and Angie and I were
kind of gradual, because we were talking about that yesterday, that you can sort of feel it now. Right?
Yeah.
Like your emotions. I notice when energy starts to change, my emotions seem to be all over the place a little bit. Right?
Yeah. I started feeling the segue of the energy this week, a couple of days ago. And it always is, it's always quite palpable. But, in the year of the rat, which we are still in, where this intensity energy has been in the sector of the north. Mm-hmm. And the north relates to career. It relates to business. And my gosh, right? There's been a lot of anger around all the ways that we've had to adapt in our business environments. And but I think one of the beautiful qualities that has brought on, and there was an extra need to overcome that, you overcome that with compassion. And again, placing your little stones, but that we had to rise to the occasion to be, first of all, compassionate and loving with ourselves with all the shifts and changes that we were going through. And also extending that compassion to each other in how we relate to our colleagues or, our spouses and what they're going through in the shifts and changes. So, so every year, these different themes, or where the wealth star, it's been in the Northwest, and we gave that little tip about, sprucing up the Northwest and the next few weeks. And I'll give you a little
energy and help us with abundance.
What was that?
I said, and that's going to enhance the energy and increase our abundance, right?
Absolutely. If you use that sector. So by increase the energy and increase the abundance. So that's why I'm saying you will be doing that by, sprucing up the Northwest over the next couple of weeks, but again, when February 4th, comes, we're going to be treating it. We're going to need to protect that in a certain way. But we'll get there. And if you come to my class on the 16th, you'll get a lot of tips and guidance. I give a chock, it's just chock full of handouts, and, it's rich in discussion. And then you do get a copy of the video on demand, which my friend Karen here so beautifully edits. And so, you can just, rewatch at your leisure and just really hone your Feng Shui skills. And I do.
I don't miss it. I never miss it. I know you're
on it. If breaking down each sector and just guiding you sector by sector and breaking it down into doable pieces. I know this might sound like a lot to do, but you can just pick one thing per sector, and it's about awareness and and personal empowerment.
Yes.
I just wanted to add, for those of you who are maybe new or this is all overwhelming, Linda also has classes available on demand that break this down on her website. And I know when I first got into watching Linda's classes, her handouts are a savior, and she does, outline several things there. So for those of you who want to jump in with Feng Shui, there's also some books that I know Linda has recommended too, but those videos on your website are available for purchase. And I think those are very helpful.
I think so too. I think so. And Linda teaches it too in a way that it's not overwhelming. It's a lot of information, but the way you break it down and use the Bagua map and all it's amazing. I don't miss it. I went to the first class and I knew a little bit about Feng Shui, but I wouldn't miss it because it changes. I know what to do in my home. I know what to do in my workplace and what to do personally to enhance energy all the way around in my life after that class. So, what I want to talk before we run out of time, I wanted to talk about February 12th.
Oh, yes, that's going to be fun. So February 12th is the actual Lunar New Year itself. So that is truly where globally we will officially be saying Happy New Year and truly Happy New Year of the Ox. So it's always considered very auspicious to gather with friends and family. So that's gathering this year with your immediate family and friends virtually. So I'm really excited to announce that I'm going to be joining Angie and friends on February the 12th. We're going to have our own little New Year, Lunar New Year party on that day. We're all going to be wearing red. I'll give you a little tip. It's considered very fortunate to display bowls of oranges on that day, wear red, drink orange juice. I think we're going to have some sort of orange juice kitty cocktails online. You'll see the three. But it's a very powerful day in that the Lunar New Year always begins with a new moon, which is always about new beginnings, and then it concludes 14 days later with the full moon. So it's a powerful day for intention setting, and again, it's considered, magnified and fortunate. When we gather, where two or more are gathered, we amplify that energy. So I say, why don't we all gather and amplify that beautiful energy for the year of the ox? And one of the other things that I just want to say, how do you prepare for these energies? So again, there's markers. February 4th is coming up, and then February 12th. So the biggest thing you can possibly do for yourself is to be clutter clearing right now and cleaning and preparing. Like, I was looking at the northwest sector of my home, and it's my dining room. And I was looking at the draperies, and I'm like, oh, I think I need to get them laundered before, the big energy shift. So the idea of that is that we're welcoming in the new energy. And when Karen had mentioned some of our on-demand videos, one of my on-demand videos that I did earlier this spring with Santosha, was one of my first productions, is on clutter clearing with Feng Shui. So that's guiding you how to clutter clear your home according to Feng Shui principles. And for anybody who, is thinking like, oh, I'd love to take that, this Year of the Ox class on the 16th, but I really don't know that much. The other video that we currently are offering is Feng Shui Essentials. So it's like the basic 101 of Feng Shui and, and how to. So that is a prerequisite for my annual energy class, that you don't necessarily have to watch the video, but you have a little bit of Feng Shui knowledge, because it is somewhat of an advanced level class. It's not rocket science, but there's a lot of information that's coming at you. So you have time to read up a book or two, or catch the video before the 16th if you need that extra guidance.
Definitely. So Linda, thank you so much. This was wonderful. I loved hearing all about this. I can't wait until January 16th. That's only a week away. I can't believe how fast that came. Right? Yeah. So we'd love to see you come and join us. And I thank Karen Sully for being here and kind of helping us with all this technical stuff and all the support she gives us. She keeps us going, right, Linda?
Yes, indeed. Oh, Karen, talk about helpful people sector.
Yeah, we do.
I'm very grateful to you too, Angie.
Yeah,
great teamwork.
Yeah, and thank you everybody so much for joining us today. Again, we're on Lilydale Blog Talk Radio and Facebook Live. My name is Angie Abt. I'm a registered Lilydale medium, and we're going to be back with you next Friday at 12. So every Friday at 12 for spiritual conversations, Angie and friends. Thank you.
Okay, just 1 second here.
Oh, did I end too fast?
No. Just playing the end.
Okay.
And then okay.
Did we get